My name is Alexandra, no I, and this is an audio chronicling of 40 reflections in the 40 days leading up to my 40th birthday. While I am speaking from my own perspective, I invite you to join me in reflecting, implore you to share with friends who may also benefit from this type of reflection, and simply extend the offering of an opportunity to be your best and most authentic self. Episodes in this 40 and 40 series will typically be less than 15 minutes and end with a question for you to ask of yourself. Please subscribe and return to join me in this journey as we build momentum along the way. Here we go. Today, I want to pick up not quite where I left off last episode, but I did want to continue along the same stream of thought. So if you have not already listened to episode 2, please take a moment to go back to that so that you can get some context for what I'm talking about today. I do also want to give a content warning. I will be talking about body image. So in my youth, I'm thinking 1st to 8th grade, I was at a school where I was the minority in pretty much every instance and very often the only. And in that way, I was able to opt out of the assumption that I would ever be like my classmates in a lot of ways. Not only was my skin and hair different, but also my body type was completely different. So thankfully, I did not hold myself to that sort of standard. Like when I got to 3rd grade and my thighs were touching, I didn't feel bad about it because at home, my mother's thighs touched. So I guess in that sense, I understood that to be normal for myself. And in growing up and navigating, I guess, the twists and turns of not just puberty, but really when I got into adulthood, and started working full-time, which allowed me to go to restaurants and things like that. That's when I started filling out a little more, I guess, because in 7th and 8th grade, I started to play sports, which facilitated the loss of like baby fat and, transitioning into like a young woman body. And then, again, once I graduated high school, started college, but even in college, I was working full time. And, I like to eat. So I couldn't, even American standards, we might disagree on what the definition of full figured is. Although it seems that according to stores, you might need to start shopping at different places once you get over size 14 or so. And I did not mind shopping at places like Lane Bryant. And my mother was full figured, so I understood that to be normal. And it wasn't, basically what I'm trying to get at is that the times when my weight would drop in some of the ways that I described last time, it was either because I was experiencing a health issue or, I'll say a physical health issue or an emotional health issue. And that further reinforced the negative connotation that I attached to weight loss or being slender in the context of myself. Because the only times I saw myself as, or I should say, the only times I saw myself losing weight drastically, visibly, were times when I was experiencing physical or mental illness. I had a bit of a technical difficulty, so my train of thought is not exactly where it was, but I guess what it really boils down to is the correlation does not necessarily equal causation. And it, that comes into play in pretty much every aspect of life, right? But in the conversation about like reverse engineering my mindset around my physical body in relation to my emotional body, there was just a lot of unlearning and or disassociating that I've had to do. So as, this journey towards improving my health in these different ways continues, it'll be interesting to kind of see how that all plays out. So I invite you to think about what are some of the correlations you've made. And, it could be in relation to your physical body, but other things that you've correlated and considered to, be directly connected that you now realize may not be. And now that you realize that, what will or what might you do differently?